Excel 2019 Formulas Part 2. In this chapter, we are going to discuss cell referencing, the Formulas tab, numbers formats, and employee pay table. In addition, using that table, we are going to deal with dates and time. As we know so far that every cell in Excel can be referenced by its column and row, as you see in front of you. The table that you have here, I built offline so that I can save your time. This table represents 5 employees. They have sales and they have unit price, and then we need to calculate the total sale amount of commission. The commission ratio is 5% of the total sales. So we are going to do the same that we did before, equal. We go for the unit price multiplied by the sales. So here's the sales multiply by unit price, which is the 10, and the result is this is the total sales. Now we drag as we used before to get the total sales. This, if we look at the dragging function here in that column, we are going to find the D10, E10, then D11, E11. The cells row and column are changing. However, if we come to the amount of commission that we need to pay and we do equal the total sales multiply by this 5%, it is going to work for the first one. Let's try to drag. If we drag here, as we usually do, it gave us weird numbers. 2 zeros, which is wrong because there are sales here, and value error, and then a huge number. So what happened and why this happened now? If we look at the first column here where we wrote the formula, we are going to find it is the cell F9 multiply by the cell here D5. This multiplication caused 500, but let's go down. It is F10 multiplied by D6. Where is D6? Here is the D6 sales multiplied by 5%. Well, it's absolutely wrong because we do not need to have D6. Here is D6. It is underneath. That's why we have 0. It is multiplication between the value of D10, 1000, multiplied by nothing. So it gave us 0. In order for us to avoid such problem, we have to use something called absolute reference. Absolute reference is using a cell value without changing the rows and columns. It's as simple as this. So let's delete that and write the new formula using the absolute reference of the cell. We need to have the absolute reference of the cell D5, which is the 5%. I can type equal total sales, here is total sales, multiply by absolute reference, $, the cell here is D5, $D, $5, and press enter. It gave me the same result, but if I analyze the formula, I find out that I'm telling the Excel, do not change rows and columns of the commission. Use exact cell, don't change it. Now if I drag from here, from the handle, it is going to give me the correct answers. This is because the D5 did not change, it is fixed. This is what's called absolute reference. When we want to fix row or column, we just put a $sign before it. Therefore, as you see in the table right now in front of you, there are several referencing for cells. Number one is the relative, where what we are using so far, where the rows and columns can change. Then the absolute reference, as we saw in this example, the rows and columns do not change, so we are using one and only one cell. Then the mixed. The mixed, you can change columns only and you can change rows only. Just remember, if you want to fix a row or a column, put a dollar sign before the row or the column that you want to fix. So far, we are used to type in the function that we are using. We used one function, which is the sum function, as you can see here. Now, I wanted you to type in the function to get familiar, to get more familiar with Excel and to memorize the function names. But the question is there is any other method to use instead of typing? Actually, yes, there is. What you know so far is the hardest method. Let's start by having another function. Let's call it an average, the average function. That average function is going to be average for all queues, Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. So what to do? Actually, if I go and click on the FX here, this button, it's going to give me the function I need. Here it is, the insert function button. Here I can type whatever I want to do. Let's say average and go. It brought me the function name. That's if I know what I want to do. But there is other method. So I can go for select categories. I can choose what the type of function I want. Either finance, date time, math, trigonometry, statistics, lookups, databases, text, logic, information, whatever I want to use. I can get it. So for the time being, I'm going to take the average function, click on it, click on OK, and here it is. It gives me number one and number two, but number one and number two can be a series, can be a range. So I'm going to click here at this bottom, and I'm going to click and drag. So as you can see, the range is highlighted, and I have from E4 to H4, E4 to H4, and click OK. It gave me 200. The average is 200. Once again, I can drag all of it, and here it is, the average for all the items. In addition to that function button, I can go to the formula tab. In the formula tab, you will find here the same insert function. You have the AutoSum, which is a set of functions that we usually use the most, and then the recently used functions, and then they divide the functions according to the categories that they belong to. So financial, logical, text, date time, reference, math, and more functions. So as you can see, it is the same functions that we have, the same functions as we have in the insert function. It's the same categories that we have. But if we don't find the category that we are looking for, we have more functions. Click on more functions. You can have statistics, engineering, cube, information, whatever functions you have. And they all work the same way. You have to click the function and insert it. That's it. Nothing serious about that. Nothing difficult about that. Date and time. Excel treats dates and time as numbers, known as date-time serial number. The date setting applies to all dates within the workbook. Mixing setting does not work. The setting of the date in a worksheet comes in two ways. There is the standard or default date setting, which you can acquire from Control Panel and Region. When you install Windows for the first time, it asks you several questions, including where are you from. According to the country, each country has a format, date format, so it puts a certain format here. Now, let's go to Excel and see if we can change that. I'm going to stop at H1 cell, go to the number format, click more number formats, stop on date. As you can see all the date formats available for you here. I am going to check, select the Wednesday, March 14th, 2012. This is the example. Of course, it's not the date of program. Click OK. Now I'm going to 2020 0101. It's a date, year, month, year. Press enter. Once again, it shows the date according to the format that you choose. If I would like to apply a function, for example, I would like to know the year, I'm going to go to our friend function. In date and time, I'm going to look for the year. Here is the year. Year of what? Year of that date. Okay, here is the year 2020. The day is the same. Go to our friend the function, day, okay, select it, and here you go, January 1st, 2020. Now, in this part of the lecture, I created that table offline to save time. This is a salary table, payments. You have 10 employees, bunch of names, departments, date hired, employee number, hour rate, worked hours, gross, total allowance, total deduction, net pay. And then I have some statistics data, number of employees, ratios, maximum salary, minimum salary, and average salary. The objective of this table is to practice more on how to implement formulas and functions on these statistics and numbers and table. The very first thing when you want to present a table to your superiors, the table has to be professionally looked. In order for you to make it professionally looking, you have to order the names. You have list of names. These names cannot be like this. You have Mark in the top and you have Alex in the bottom. Alex is supposed to be in the top because the name starts with A. So what to do? If you look at row number 5, you have number 1, Mark, IT department, hourly rate $60 an hour, number of worked hours 40 hours. So I need to organize that. I need to sort that table. All I'm going to do is I'm going to select from Mark and the net pay, the end of it, as you can see. And then I'm going to go to the sort function, sort A to Z. Once again, sort function, sort A to Z. And sort A to Z, here it is. Alexandra came in the top, sales, 40, worked 5 hours, and so on. Mark, I have 2 marks here. One is in the IT and the other one is in the sales department. This is very important to know because we have a redundant in the name, but are they redundant? No, because we can have different marks in the same place. We have people with the same name different and working the same place. This is going to be different in the employee number because the employee number is going to be different. So from now on, we are going to work on that table and we sorted it. But I don't know if there are let's say, spelling mistakes or not. I would like to check if the table I wrote or the any text I wrote have spelling mistakes. Let's go to review. Once again, here is review and spelling function here. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select. Do you want to continue checking at the beginning? Yes. Nothing wrong, so I am good. So learn this. When you want to present data, this data has to be free of spelling mistakes. We all make spelling mistakes. Tables have to be ordered. These small touches makes big difference between the professional work and non-professional work. Now back again to our employee table. I made few changes. I would like to tell you about it offline so that I save more time. Now I added the date. It's long dates here, as you can see. I formatted the hour rate to be, as you can see here, currency. I made all the text here to be centralized. Then I added allowance ratio to be 10% and deductions to be 15%. Now, as you can see in front of you, the employee number. The employee number is going to be a mix or a mix between the year, name, and day hired, as you can see in front of you in that text. The objective of this field is, aside from generating an employee number, is to practice the last operator that we have, which is the concatenations. In text, you cannot do multiplication, you cannot do subtraction. The only thing you can do is concatenation using the ampersand. Now, let's get started. The employee number is going to equal to the name, which is going to be Alex, concatenation with the year of here. It's going to be year of this one, concatenation with the day of the same field, which is E5. Let's see what's going to happen. Here it is, Alex 2001. Now we can stop on the cell F5 and drag from the handle to generate the entire name list. Here it is, the entire name list for the employee number. Now let's calculate the gross salary. Gross salary is very simple. As you can see in front of you, it is equal to hour rate multiplied by number of hours. So once again, equal hour rate multiplied by number of worked hours. Press enter. Oh, I made a mistake here. It's here, gross salary. It's equal to hour rate multiplied by worked hours. Enter 200. Drag here. Now total allowance. Total allowance is 10% of the gross salary. So it is, we have the referencing here. Equal, as we said, it's going to be the gross salary multiplied by the absolute reference of here of D1. So dollar sign D25 dollar sign. Yes, we made a mistake here. It is dollar sign. Here it is. That's the date. currency, and then drag it all. Here it is. Total deduction, it's the same thing. Gross salary multiplied by 15%. So equal gross salary multiplied by the absolute reference of 15%. Enter. Here it is. Deduction is 30. Now net pay. We have, as you can see, the net pay is equal to the gross salary plus total allowance minus total deduction. So here it is. Once again we format to be currency because it's money. So here we let's stop on the first one. It's equal to, as usual, use parentheses. So gross salary 200 plus total allowance minus total deductions. Enter 190, and here it is the total amount. Now we need to know how much we are going to pay, net pay. So it's equal summation of this range. So we are going to pay 10,402 and 50 cents. Now for the number of employees, we would like to use the function called count. So it is equal count here it is count, and we are going to select this range, which is the serial number, and here it is, gives us a 10. The ratio of IT salaries to total salaries and ratios, all these ratios, we are going to finish it in the coming chapters. Now for the maximum salary, I'm going to use the function called max. So here is max, and select the range from the net pay, and then close, enter. The maximum salary is 2,280. Minimum salary is the same. It is going to be equal MIN minimum, and we are going to select the range, close. The minimum salary is 120. The average is another function called average. Here it is. So, and save as usual. So with this we conclude this video. If you have any problems in the following with us, please refer to the first formula video. I'm gonna put the address in the description, and please feel free to send me any questions you have. Finally, I thank you so very much for your watch. Finally, if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like.